Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the realities versus the expectations of working in the UK as a nurse. If you are interested to know what it is like to work in the UK, your expectations, what you expect to find, well, I've been in the system more than a year and I'm here to let you know what the realities are. Let's get right into it. Welcome back. So first off, one of the expectations is that the UK is conducive, beautiful place to work in, which I agree. Well, compared to Africa, I'm not here trying to compare Africa and UK. The health system is obviously different. The NHS is a beautiful thing. However, we must give accolades to whom accolades is due. The NHS is a very beautiful system. The healthcare system is very beautiful. It's well organized, from the GP system up onto the A&E system, up onto the collaborations with the community services, and even inter-NHSs. Wherever you are, your information is accessible. As far as an NHS, you have an NHS number. Anywhere you walk into in the UK, you will get the same quality of care. So I must say that is one beautiful thing, which obviously even the US is always saying it's not effective. But well, to me, I think it's a beautiful thing to have a health system that is so unified and so much works together. At least most of the things work together. You know, even if you can have issues of communication or fragmentation of this care at some levels, but at least to an extent, everything works together in symphony to ensure the health of the populace. Even the care home working together, the rehabilitation centers working together with the NHS, determining the pathway of discharge for a patient from the hospital, not always to the home, back home. Anytime you're discharged from the hospital, you know you're either going home straight. There's no plan of rehabilitation or what have you. You have to always go back to the hospital for your rehabilitation. However, in the UK here, you can either be discharged home if you're fit and able, or you're discharged to a rehabilitation center or a community hospital where you can go and get fit enough, well enough to go home, or you are sent home with a package of care. Carers come into your house to take care of you, or you're also sent to a nursing home or a residential home. It all depends on your situation and your level and your state of health on discharge. That is one thing that is so different here in the UK. Now let's come down to, as our work as nurses, what are the expectations? To earn loads of money. Alright, depending on where you're coming from, Africa, Philippines, Ghana, South Africa, it all depends. So if you want to compare what you earn back home to what you're going to be receiving here in the UK, well, I might say that is considerably more than what you earn at home. However, when you consider the cost of living, your tax, expenditure, well, I'd rather say the system takes back what it gives you. But then if you are a good money manager, or you are someone who manages your funds very well, then you'll be able to make good savings. And if you're somebody who is strong and hardworking, you can tap into the system, work extra hours with bank with better pay rates, and have good earnings and good savings for yourself. So that's the real expectation. You expect to earn so much and have so much dollar. However, the cost of living and then your expenditure per head, or depending on your family situation and your need of sending money home, make this not to be so a reality. However, if you put more hard work to it, do more hard work extra hours, work on the bank with good pay rates, then you'll be smiling home to the bank. Now, another expectation is that the patient-nurse ratio is going to be fantabulous. Anyway, who recommends at least a nurse to 4 patients or to 6 patients? Well, I would say in reality, this is close to what is found in the NHS. In the NHS, I mean, not in the care home. During your day shifts, you have an average of 6 to 8 patients, which is not too bad, considering the fact that it is a large system, and considering the fact that you have nursing shortage in the UK, which is why you are being invited to come over. So what are you waiting for? Get on your IELTS and your CBT and get over here. That is why you are being sorted for. Because of the shortage of occupation, you find nurse-patient ratios of 6 to 8 during the day shifts. But wait for it, during the night shift, you can have as much as 15 to 30 patients. Yes, 15 to 30 patients. You heard me right. If no more, to 40, maybe 50 in a care home. Yes, you know what I'm talking about. That is the reality. The shortage is so much, but the good thing is that where you have more of this large number of nurse-patient ratio is usually in the residential home or in the care home, whereas you have more palliative cases or more stable patients or patients who will just sleep through the night. So you're basically just observing and watching out that nothing goes wrong. But that's the way I see it, apart from giving your medication rounds. So, expectation 4 to 6 patients per nurse. In reality, you can get close to that during the day shifts, but I'm sorry, at night, a higher nurse patient ratio of 15 to up to 50. Yes, and it is the truth. There is a shortage, and the good thing is that they are trying to, cut down this shortage, which is why they need nurses, international nurses. Expectation is that you are going to be working in a very conducive environment. Don't get me wrong, the environment is conducive to an extent, but when the shortage begins to bite, you may be expected to stay back at work for more than your contracted hours, or you may be forced to do extra hours. This is more obtainable in the care homes and not in the NHS. In the NHS, you go home at the time you are due, even if you're going to stay extra hours in very dear, maybe there is nobody coming now or someone's coming and the person has not yet arrived, then you have to stay at least up to 30 minutes. But in the care home, you may find that you're doing more hours just because there is shortage. Anyway, most care homes will pay you good amounts for those extra hours or those extra shifts that you do, and give you good pay rates for staying over for extra hours. But then the discomfort, if you're a family person, if you're very tired, what have you? It all boils down to the body, mind you. So the body needs rest. But then you may be called to duty sometimes to do extra hours when you're not prepared for it. Expectation that you will be accepted fully and wholly, both by patients and by staff. Well, reality check. Quick disclaimer here, I'm not here saying that there is any form of discrimination against international nurses. However, it might come across as so. This does occur in some places of work. Some international nurses will complain that their management is bad, their bosses, their managers are not treating them right, they don't communicate effectively with their colleagues. Well, I think it all boils down to your communication and your person skills. If you're able to develop good relationship with people, even if people may come across as being unwelcoming to you, your attitude to them is going to make them change their perception of you, and then you have a better working relationship. And if it's with your manager, you can bring it up, write a note, write a letter, just state your mind on what's going on and how they're making your working environment unsafe or unhealthy for you, and it's going to be addressed. Trust me, anything that is written in paper is going to be addressed. So in reality, you expect that everywhere everybody's going to welcome you with open hands. In reality, that may not be the case, but your person skill is going to help you to have better relationships with people, with your colleagues, and even your patients. We do expect that when we come to the UK, that we're going to adapt quickly and get on with the seasons. Reality check. When you get into the UK, the weather is one thing that you're going to battle with as somebody who's coming from Africa. But calm down, you're going to get used to it. Our body undergoes this adaptation phase, and then you will well become one who gets so hot when the sun comes out and gets very comfortable even when it is cold. So don't worry, you're going to fit in perfectly and nicely. You may not get away with a few colds or a few illness, however, you will be fine. Okay, most of our expectations will always be the same. Nothing is the same everywhere. Nothing is the same care. You care for your patients, observe, see what's happening with them, and take care of them. If you're able to have the traits in you as a nurse, you'll be fine in the UK. Other expectation is that you have comfortable working hours. Well, reality check, in the UK we have what we call long shifts, 12-hour shifts. In Africa we are used to 8-hour shifts. However, I know most establishments are already adopting the 12-hour system. So if you work somewhere where you work only 8 hours, well, when you come to the UK it may be a bit biting for you, because we have 12-hour shifts that run from 7 to 7 in the evening or 8 to 8 in the morning. So that's one thing that you should prepare yourself for. Another thing, night duties. In night duties, you are not allowed to sleep. You cannot sleep. However, you are entitled to an hour break. Whatever you do during this 1 hour is up to you. You can decide to take a short nap and wake up and feel better. However, some employers do not permit you to sleep during your night duty breaks, because you are the only liable person on duty, probably in the care homes. Well, this is rather unhealthy, but then in most NHS trusts and in most care homes, you're entitled to 1 hour's rest, and whatever you do during that 1 hour is up to you. Most people take the opportunity to get a quick nap and then come back energized. For some, sleeping during those hours is going to make them even more agitated when they wake up, so they'd rather just stay without sleeping. So whatever works for you, stick to it. If having a short nap helps you, fine. If not sleeping at all helps you to stay awake, good for you. A quick tip when you're on night duty: drink lots of water, be hydrated, have a snack, some sweeties to drink, and keep yourself active and the sugar level up and running. And if you want to be healthy, have a fruit pot or one fruit or two to keep you active and alert during your night shift. Another reality in the UK is that most things are already systemized. There's a lot of computer work in the care. Software is used to improve patient care. There are many softwares being used in the NHS or in the care homes, so be prepared to be computer literate. There is no excuse that you're not computer literate. You have to be computer literate and get computer literate. So reality check, in the UK you're going to be using a lot of computers to take care of your patients, in some situations to even administer medications to your patients. So I know in Africa we are mostly used to paperwork and taking up the medications that we're giving our patients, or in the UK we have loads of softwares in the computer that help you with taking care and administering your care and administering medications to your patient. Another reality in the UK is that there is a very good sense of safeguarding for patients and raising concerns. It is your responsibility as a nurse to ensure that your patient is safe and that no harm comes to your patient. As such, there is a lot of documentation and raising of concerns. If there are concerns about the care that you give, concerns will be raised, and then you are liable to be questioned about what you've done. So you have to be very accountable. You have to be very accountable. Vicarious liability that is very obtainable in Africa, whereas your employer is the one who is responsible for any errors you've made, does not account here. You are accountable and you should be responsible for every care that you give and every action that you do. So you have to ensure you're doing the right thing at the right time and that you are very backed up by the law in whatever care you're giving to your patient. Vicarious liability is going to come in play, but most of the time the nurse is very accountable and is held responsible for any errors or any harm that has come to a patient via their negligence. This is not to make you scared of coming to work in the UK. I'm sure as a nurse, you're very diligent enough to ensure safety and that you're giving adequate and safe care to your patient. So this shouldn't be a bother to you, but it's just to reiterate that there is a responsibility by everybody to ensure that no harm comes to anybody under the health care system. It's everybody's responsibility to look out for the patient and ensure that nobody is causing harm to any patient through the care that they give. So be it a nurse, a healthcare assistant, or a doctor who is deemed to be doing anything that is harmful or by act or omission that could endanger the health or the safety of a vulnerable group, by this I mean children or elderly ones, or even anybody in particular in the health system, concerns will be raised about you, and then you will be called to answer what you'll be doing wrong and if your practice has been up to par to the standards of practice of the NMC. Even patients be the ones who are doing the telling. If they believe that you're not doing the right thing, they have the right to go to the NMC and report to you that your practice is not safe. So therefore, you have to be sure that at every point in time, you are doing the right thing and giving the right form of care at any given time, because all eyes are on you. Well, that's it for me. I hope I've been able to get you to understand what the realities are and what probably you thought were it. But do not be afraid, you will be fine.